Guess who's back? Back again. It's, Slim Shady. I'm just kidding. So, last video, I stopped it very suddenly. So, let's pick back up on the paragraph that I was reading. Because, yeah, I can't even remember why I stopped last time. It's probably because a family member walked in. Oh, whatever. Okay. Well, it sorta does. He leans back. Things were running smooth enough, so Canada and I thought we could... I don't know. He laughs sheepishly and rubs the back of his neck. We wanted to find England and France, to make sure they were okay, and to tell them about the subs. I was just going to go by myself, but he insisted on coming too. So, here we are. How come you didn't just go in the submarine? Peter asks. That's 2 less seats for someone else, he shrugs. Plus, we thought that if we could get to the center of the country, we'd have a better chance of actually finding them. But our navigations went screwy, we got lost, and we crashed before we could make it there. We've been here for about 6 months, I guess. And you haven't moved on? Denmark frowns. You haven't been trying to figure out where you are or where everyone might be? Well, he clears his throat and glances back at Canada. We want to, but we can't. A soft fourth voice cuts him off and Peter nearly jumps out of his skin. There's a rustling of blankets when Canada rolls onto his back. Al, could you please bring me some water? America scrambles to his knees and hurries to bring a canteen to him, shifting close and slipping an arm under his shoulders to prop him up, lifting the water to his lips and helping him take small, slow sips. After a moment, he holds up a hand and Alfred sets the water down, but keeps Canada held loosely to his chest. I found friends, he says cheerfully, smoothing a hand down Matthew's hair. Isn't that great? I can tell. Who is it? Denmark glances at Peter, worried. Denmark, he says, and Sealand. Peter? Yes, Peter calls softly. It's me. I'm so relieved you're okay. Al and I were just talking about you the other day. You were? A low laugh. Of course. You're a bit like our half-brother, aren't you? We were worried that the ocean might have swept you away. You're all in one piece? Yeah, I'm okay. He shifts forward and tries to peer around the chimney. Are you all right? Alfred glances back at him. He's fine, just a little sick. He turns back to Matthew and smiles suddenly, bringing a gentle hand down his cheek. Right, Matty, only a little sick. A sigh. Right, just a little. Denmark scowls. Wait, he's sick? How sick? Alfred turns back to snap at him, but Matthew speaks up before he can. I can't see, I'm afraid. Or walk, so... He goes rigid suddenly, breaking down into a fit of racking coughs, hollow and damp and deep in his chest as he jerks against America. It lasts for several minutes, Denmark and Sealand watching with wide eyes before he exhales slowly and settles back into Alfred's arms, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. So, pretty sick, I'd say. He's going to get better. Alfred turns and glares at Denmark. We just have to hold on until Russia gets here, and then when we get home, we have medicine that can make him better. Denmark's jaw sets and he starts to move forward. Let me see, he murmurs. He murmurs. He sits down next to America and ignores the dirty look that has shot his way in favor of clicking on his flashlight to look down at Canada. Like the rest of them, he's lost a considerable amount of weight, but his face is unmarred and still fairly healthy looking, except that both of his eyes are a dull, milky white. Denmark swallows and turns the lamp off. How long has it been like this? It was a gradual process. It started before we left, Canada sighs. All in all, maybe 8 months from point A to point B. Why do you ask? Denmark ignores the question and turns back to Alfred. And you have a cure for it? Back at your colonies? Well, not yet, but we will. His eyes flit down, and for once he looks as helpless as the rest of them. We have to. A silence. Canada turns his head curiously and reaches a hand up to gently touch the side of Denmark's face. You have it too, don't you? He asks. He's quiet for a beat. Or is it Peter? Denmark shakes his head and closes his eyes. It's me. Canada nods and fans his fingers out until the tips brush against Denmark's eyelids. How bad is it? I can still walk. Can you see? Sort of. Still breathing? Well enough. I see. He presses the pad of his thumb to Denmark's cheek. And how long has it been for you? Denmark pauses, eyes opening again to glance back at Peter. 6.5 months, he shrugs, give or take a few weeks. He smiles and drops his hand back to his lap. Modern leapers we are. Wait, modern, is it lepers? Because that's like leprosy? Lepers? Yeah. Modern lepers, are we? He muses. But you're still up and moving, so I suppose that's the best we can hope for. Peter grips the front of his coat, watching the scene in front of him unfold with wide eyes. Denmark continues to speak to Canada, too quiet for Peter to hear, but he isn't sure he could hear them even if he wanted to over the roar of blood in his ears. Canada is blind. Canada is an invalid. Canada is only a month and a half sicker than Denmark. What if, he blurts, What if we came with you? Can you fix him back at your colony? America blinks. Well, maybe. There are so many people sick with this. We have to find a cure eventually. Eventually. What a word that is. Denmark sighs and pulls back to sit beside Peter again. You said the submarine is going to the North Sea. Is it going to be stopping anywhere in Scandinavia? Canada nods. They were planning to anchor as close as Gothenburg as they could. We weren't sure how much of Sweden the water has gotten to, but they think that's where they'll find most of the survivors from Finland and Norway. And your place too, Alfred adds when he notices the flinch that flits across Denmark's face. And what about here in Germany? Canada's eyebrows rise. Where in Germany? Oh, yeah, forgot to tell you. America laughs. They think the water's moved pretty far in, so I think they're planning to take rowboats from Sweden to Berlin and start picking people up there. So I guess that's where we all need to go. Correction. Denmark holds up a hand. That's where you two need to go. We'll meet up with you in Sweden. You're going to Sweden? Canada sits up a bit. How? We think Poland is still running a boat. Talk about Canadian, wow. A boat, eh? We think Poland is still running a boat up and down the Baltic Sea. And if he's not? I don't know. We'll figure something out. Canada hums. That seems dangerous. So does sleeping alone in a buried plane while your overeager brother wanders around with a map. Touché. Denmark sighs and runs a hand through his hair. Listen, we can't stay here long, especially knowing that we only have 2 months to try and find everyone before the submarine gets here. He looks up. I think you should come with us. We ran into Netherlands a while back, and he told us that Germany was on his way to Leipzig with a bunch of survivors. He said France and England were with him, and it's not far from Berlin. We can help you get that far, and then you can start spreading the word around the shelters. America brightens considerably. England and France are okay? Really? Denmark grimaces. I don't know how much truth to it there is, but it's worth looking into. Canada wrings his hands. I don't suppose that's where Netherlands was headed to. No. He didn't stay with you? No. Listen, Canada. I know you guys were friends, so I don't really want to do this. Oh. Canada leans back, and a small smile on his lips. He's dead, isn't he? I think so. I see. And Belgium? Same. There's a long, awkward pause while Canada scrubs at his eyes, and America looks torn between excitement and wanting to punch Denmark in the teeth. The point is, Denmark says after a minute, if you want to get out of here, getting to Leipzig, I think that's how you pronounce it, is going to be your best chance. If that's where survivors are going, that means they have some kind of transportation. Jan said they had carts, so they could help Matthew get to Berlin. And if you do manage to find Arthur and Francis, even better. I don't know, America murmurs. We haven't really moved at all from here. I've seen what people do to each other at the trading post, though, and I'm not sure it's safe to leave, especially with Maddie not being able to walk. We could make a sled or something. Take turns towing him. Denmark frowns. It's up to you guys, though. We'll stay here for a few days to stock up in town, but after that, we're leaving. We've got to get moving. Peter pulls his knees up to his chin and swallows the cold feeling that starts to rise in his throat while America and Canada weigh their options. It's unsaid, but Peter can hear it perfectly clear in Denmark's voice. He knows what he means. They need to leave as soon as possible because they only have a month and a half before Denmark can't walk anymore. Boom, and that's the end of chapter 12. Finally, wow. I'm gonna get chapter 13 out as soon as possible. Let's see how many minutes chapter 13 is. Oh, 19. Alright. Well, have a good day or night. I'm finally updating again. And I should be getting at least a bit of chapter 13 out to you soon. Alrighty. Have a good day or night. Bye-bye.